Hello chums, John Bloodworth, Gentleman Crafter here with card layout number 87. Lots to get through in this one, so let's kick off by showing you what I'll be using. This is the layout, which I did change. There's some ink pads, a stamp, which I ended up not using, some watercolour paints and inks, a silicone coaster and paintbrush, a very large stamp from Honeydew Crafts, and a very large stamp from Impression Obsessions. This one was called CAC Graduation, or Gradation, that's the word, not graduation. Coloured cardstock going on here as ever, and then a black card base. I'm going to start by sticking the purple card base to the card itself. Not sure what happened with that choppy edit. Probably just got rid of some fly or wasp or something. There's a lot about at the moment. And I'll leave that off to one side to dry whilst I do some stamping. I'm going to be using a purple VersaFine ink for this particular technique. Just purely because of the amount of detail in the stamp, and I want to make sure that it picks up as much as possible. These stamps have seen better days. I've had them quite a few years now, so there might even be some bits that it doesn't pick up because they're missing. I'm just dabbing off bits so that they have less of an impact towards the bottom edge of the card. And I'm introducing the card to the stamp and then pressing from the back, and we can see there the result. Now for the large stamp, I need a large acrylic block, and I'm going to be using the black VersaFine ink to ink this up. I'm going to make my first impression on that dotty paper that I've just made. And then I'm also going to create 2 additional impressions on 2 separate sheets of cardstock. There's one, and up will come another in a second. While I'm doing that, don't forget you can download this layout along with 86 others from the blog gentlemancrafter.com, and that will give you sizes and dimensions that I've used throughout all of these card layouts as well. You can print them and save them in a 6x4 photo album, or just save them on your device or on your computer, wherever you fancy. Cleaning off the stamp before I put it away, trying to be a good boy. And then next up, I'm going to clear some space so I can bring in my mat, silicone mat, to protect the work surface, just in case I get any spillage. Adding some water to the silicone coaster and just a couple of tiny drops of this watercolour ink, because this stuff goes a very long way. And I'm just basically, I'm not even bothering trying to colour in the lines. I'm just giving it a colour wash over both areas where the colour will be needed. And this is why I've done 2 impressions, so I can just colour wash the flowers, and then on the other one I will colour wash the leaves, as you see me doing next. On the flower, by the way, that I've just put off to one side, I did a second layer using an translucent pink. I think it's called opera pink. And I quite like this bluey green next to that warm purple. It's quite nice, isn't it? I don't think I'll get any awards for watercolouring today. Not even using watercolour paper or card. It's just your bog standard. Crazy, breaking all the rules. Anyway, so what happened next? Oh yeah, I left them to dry. And then I went ahead and did some snippies by chopping down the dotty paper that I'd created. And I'd totally forgotten what measurements I'd done. And I'd totally lost the layout as well, somewhere on the paper, on the desk. So I had to measure. Now, the idea here is that I will need to add some ink to the edge. So I chose a purple, blended that off. But then when I compared it to the original, I felt that it needed something more. So I put some black on. By the way, ignore this bit. I'm basically inking a sentiment that I won't be using. I had originally planned to use it, hence why you've got a rectangle on the layout, rather than the circle you saw at the start of this video. It's a bit confusing in my head, but sometimes I end up with something that I didn't plan for. There's a plot line for a Victorian drama. Anyway, as you see, I've cut out the flowers and the leaves, and I'm just going to be using that bookbinding glue to stick it all down. So I'm essentially paper piecing the flower back together and the leaves in place. And this way you can be a little bit freer with all of this paint and ink and not have to worry about getting things in the lines or outside the lines or ruining a bit of cardstock. You can just use your bog standard bits and pieces and come up with some very interesting techniques, or results even. It's also quite therapeutic. It's like putting a jigsaw back together. And there we are. Nice. Anyway, like I said, I put this sentiment, but I realised it basically covers the entire flower that I've just spent quite a while putting together. So I reached for another set of stamps with a smaller sentiment. Stamped the little mite out using some black VersaFine ink onto a wee piece of cardstock. Did I use black? No, I used the purple VersaFine ink pad. And then, what did I do? I die cut it with a circle die. That's what I did. Crumbs, it's hard trying to remember what you did. Mind you, it's hard trying to remember what you came into the room for. And I've only got 3 rooms. Anyway, don't forget to pop over to the blog. Oh, by the way, if you are watching this when it's released, so like July or August 2021, I'm very proud to have been nominated for Most Inspiring Blog of the Year in the Craft Awards. I will leave the link below the video on YouTube. Please do pop over and vote. You don't have to vote for me. It'd be just good to vote. You can win stuff too by voting, apparently. Read the full terms on the website when you find it. Now, there we go. I was thinking about doing a bow at the top of that circle, but in the end, I just decided just a couple of gems might finish this off. And that, my friends, is card layout 87. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. That's it for this time. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And for more from me in the future, please remember to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.